and the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
The Bloodline, once the most dominant and unified force in WWE, has just imploded in a way nobody saw coming. On SmackDown, emotions boiled over, alliances shattered, and betrayal cut deep. In one of the most shocking moments in the group's history, Tama Tonga turned his back on Solo Sikoa and aligned himself with Jacob Fatu. The fallout wasn't just another wrestling swerve. It felt like the official start of a brutal war for power inside the Bloodline family. What made this even more shocking is how organically it unfolded throughout the night. For years, the Bloodline has been defined by its themes of loyalty, family, and dominance. But on this particular evening, we saw those foundations crumble, leaving WWE fans stunned and asking, has the Bloodline finally reached its breaking point? Cracks begin to show. The seeds of betrayal were planted earlier in the night when cameras caught Solo Sikoa and Tamatonga in the locker room. Solo, ever the stoic and no-nonsense enforcer, was laser-focused on strategy. He spoke with a sense of urgency, understanding the growing danger that Jacob Fatu represents. But Tama seemed different, distracted, detached. His body was there, but his heart clearly wasn't in the conversation. For longtime fans, this moment felt like foreshadowing. Wrestling teaches us to read body language, and Tama's was screaming, "Something's not right." It was the calm before the storm. Jacob Fatu confronts Solo. Things escalated quickly when Jacob Fatu, the Bloodline's most unpredictable and dangerous figure, confronted Solo backstage. The two stood nose to nose, their history and family ties adding weight to every glare. It wasn't just two superstars jawing at each other. It was family business spilling into the public eye. Words turned heated, and the tension was unbearable. Fans watching could feel the eruption coming. For a moment, it looked like fists were about to fly. This was a clash weeks, if not months, in the making. But no one expected what came next. The shocking betrayal. Just as it seemed Solo and Fatu were about to trade blows, Tamatonga inserted himself into the moment. Initially, it looked like he was stepping in to keep the peace, to stop family from tearing itself apart. But in one devastating twist, he swung a vicious forearm to Solo's jaw. The sound of the strike echoed, and in that instant, the entire Bloodline narrative shifted. This wasn't just a hit, it was a statement. What followed was pure carnage. Tama and Jacob unleashed a savage 2-on-1 beatdown. They slammed Solo into equipment crates, rammed him against walls, and stomped him until he was motionless on the concrete. Security rushed in, but by then, the damage was done. Loyalty is earned. The betrayal was brutal enough, but what Tama said afterward was what truly cut deep. Looking directly into the camera, eyes cold and voice steady, he declared, "Loyalty is earned, and Solo, you lost mine." It wasn't just a line for shock value, it was personal. It told the world that this wasn't a random act of violence. This was a calculated decision, one born out of frustration, resentment, and ambition. Tama wasn't just walking away from Solo, he was aligning himself with Jacob Fatu, the very man Solo was trying to guard against. When Jacob Fatu nodded in approval, it was the official coronation of a new alliance, an alliance built on betrayal. The Bloodline shattered. The Bloodline's entire empire has always been built on unity, from Roman Reigns' historic tribal chief era to the loyalty of the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Tamatonga. The faction thrived because they stood together. But now, that unity has collapsed. With Tamatonga siding with Jacob Fatu, the foundation is broken, and the war for control of the family dynasty is officially on. Solo Sikoa has been left humiliated and physically destroyed, abandoned by the very man who was supposed to be his ally. Jacob Fatu, once considered the chaotic outsider, suddenly has the upper hand with Tama by his side. The Bloodline isn't just splintering, it's collapsing into a civil war. What does this mean for the future? This betrayal raises more questions than it answers. Where does Solo Sikoa go from here? He was supposed to be the heir apparent, the one to carry on the tribal chief's legacy in Roman Reigns' absence. Now with Tama and Jacob aligned, he looks vulnerable, isolated, and weakened. On the other side, Jacob Fatu's stock has skyrocketed. By convincing Tamatonga to join forces, He's positioned himself as not just a threat, but possibly the new leader of a reshaped bloodline. His mix of ferocity and unpredictability makes him the most dangerous man in WWE right now. And then there's the lingering shadow of Roman Reigns. Where does the tribal chief stand in all of this? Is he watching his empire crumble from a distance, or will he return to reclaim control? His absence feels more glaring than ever, and many fans are already speculating that this chaos may be the storyline spark to bring him back. The human side of the story. What makes this betrayal so compelling isn't just the physical violence, it's the emotional weight. For years, the bloodline has been framed around family, heritage, and loyalty. Seeing it unravel reminds us of how fragile trust can be. Solo Sikoa wasn't just betrayed by a partner, he was betrayed by blood. Tamatonga's words about loyalty being earned resonate deeply because they highlight the cracks that have always existed within the family. WWE fans don't just see this as a storyline. They feel it as a heartbreaking collapse of something that once symbolized strength and unity. Final thoughts. On this night, SmackDown delivered a seismic moment that will define WWE for months to come. Tamatonga's betrayal of Solo Sikoa and alliance with Jacob Fatu wasn't just another twist, it was a turning point. The bloodline is no longer united, it is fractured, and the war for power has begun. As Solo lies battered and broken, and as Tama and Jacob walk away with newfound dominance, one thing is certain. The story of the bloodline isn't ending. It's evolving into its most violent and personal chapter yet. The WWE Universe will be watching closely, because when family turns on family, there are no winners, only survivors.